From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting, originating from the County Administrative Center located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue, Bakersfield, California. Kern County's vision is to create and maintain a customer-centered county government designed to garner the confidence, support, and trust of the people we serve. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Gleason.
Here.
Supervisor Scrivener.
Here.
Supervisor Maggard.
Here.
Supervisor Couch. Supervisor Perez.
Here.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, February 7th, 2017 meeting of the Board of Supervisors. We're going to begin today's meeting with the flag salute. Our flag salute will be led by Dwayne Artis, the foreperson of the Kern County Grand Jury. And if you could all please remain standing for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation.
Please salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you.
Please be seated. Okay, I'll ask council to report on any actions in closed session if needed. I don't think there's any report. Thank you. And we will go on to the consent agenda. All items listed with a CA above the item are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. And before I continue, if you'd like an agenda to follow along, they are located on the two back tables. So consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If a member of the audience wishes to comment or ask questions regarding an item or items on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken on the consent agenda. A member of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda, and it will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. So I'm going to read the consent agenda starting on page 2. Items 1 and 2, as well as 4, 5, and 6, and 9 are on consent. Going on to page 3, item 10 is on consent, as well as 12 through 15, and 17 through 19. Page 4, all items 20 through 25 are on consent. And finally, on page 5, item 26 is on consent. So are there any members of the public who would like to make any comments on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'll return to the board.
Motion on consent.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Couch.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And now we're going to return to page 2 on our agenda, item number 3 under resolutions and proclamations. Item 3 is to proclaim February 6th through the 10th, 2017 as Grand Jury Public Awareness Week in Kern County. And Supervisor Maggard will make this presentation.
Motion to approve the proclamation.
Second.
Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Couch.
Yeah, you're well welcome to stand behind her. Hey, you're the grand jury. You can do whatever you want. You know that's not how it works, but you do get a good parking spot, I think. Sorry, I'm not going to repeat what we just said. I'm here today to help us proclaim February 6th through 10 as 2017 Grand Jury Awareness Week in Kern County. I'm joined by the entire, I think, grand jury. Is everybody here this morning?
We have a couple absent.
Couple absent. Coming up, our foreperson for the grand jury is Dwayne Artis, who led us in the flag salute. So thank you for your service and all of your service to our community. February is Grand Jury Awareness Month in California, and California is the only state in the union which mandates that every county in the state must have its grand jury. The grand jury serves both a dual role, and both has a civil responsibility and a criminal responsibility. And it'd be interesting to hear about that a little bit. We don't hear much about your being involved in the criminal side, but you certainly are involved in the civil side a lot here. But you might know more about that than I do. Maybe it's just something that doesn't make the papers. Annually, the grand jury recruits new members between the middle of January and April the 1st. And I suppose we're in that season right now, so it might be interesting to hear about that. And there are 5 standing committees, as we make you more aware of what the grand jury does. They have 5 standing committees. One is the administration and audit. One is cities and joint powers. One is special districts. Another is health, education, and social services, and law and justice. So they have, I'm sure, a fascinating array of responsibilities and the insight you get to see when you look into things. So I'd like to present you this proclamation. It's our way of drawing the public's awareness and attention to the fact that it is Grand Jury Public Awareness Week. So this says that the Board of Supervisors proclaims, and on behalf of the County of Kern and the State of California, that February 6 through 10, 2017 is Grand Jury Public Awareness Week in Kern County, entered into our minutes by the signature of our chairman, the Honorable Zach Scrivener, on this the 7th day of February. Thank you for what you do. Tell us a little bit more about the Grand Jury and what's going to happen this week.
Good morning, Chairman Scrivener and members of the board. The 2016-2017 Kern County Grand Jury is proud to serve the citizens of Kern County. As you all know, we are the community watchdogs charged with keeping a watchful eye over all elected officials as well as all county and city agencies throughout Kern County. We also respond to and investigate all complaints made by citizens when they think something is not right. With your help, we'd like to get the word out to all Kern County that serving on the grand jury is not only educational and enlightening, but it's also a lot of fun. The grand jury is thankful to have the full support of the County Board of Supervisors. There are many grand juries in this state that can't meet very often and don't have office space provided, which makes doing their job that much more difficult. Your support makes our job a lot easier, and we'd like to let you all know that we do appreciate it. Because of your support, we will continue to do our part to make Kern County a great place to live and work. On behalf of members of the Kern County Grand Jury, we'd like to invite you and your staff to attend our Grand Jury Awareness Program located at the Liberty Bell in front of the Superior Court Building this coming Thursday morning at 9:30. Thank you for your time and your support and for this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you again for all you do.
Thank you, Supervisor Maggard, and to all of you for your service to the county. Thank you very much.
Thank you for what you do.
This brings us to item number 7 on our agenda, public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. If you are a member of the audience and would like to make a public statement, please come forward. Do we have anyone who would like to make a public statement today? Okay, I don't see any. So we'll move on then to board member announcements and reports. Okay, I don't see any reports from the board members, so we'll then move on to page 3 on our agenda, item number 11. This is an item under the County Administrative Office. This is mid-year status report on the fiscal year 2016-2017 budget for the general and fire funds. And I'll ask CAO Ryan Alsop to start us off. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. This report provides a current status of the fiscal year 2016-17 general fund budget at the mid-year point of the fiscal year and provides your board with key operational changes and challenges since budget adoption. Nancy Lawson, Assistant CAO for Budget and Finance, will provide your board with the details of this report.
Good morning, Ms. Lawson.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The fiscal year 2016-17 county budget for the general fund is tracking as amended for adjustments made prior to December 31st. There are no significant adjustments anticipated at this time. General fund departments have spent approximately 49.63% of the budgeted appropriations, which is nearly the same as last fiscal year during the same period. For the general fund, mid-year reports submitted by departments indicate that all are tracking within budget. However, the Sheriff's Office is monitoring their resources closely. The Sheriff's Office has been working diligently to manage within the confines of its reduced budget while ensuring the effective use of contingency funding provided by your board. Holding to the adopted appropriations will require the continued management of overtime resulting from employee turnover. Property taxes for the general fund are tracking lower than budgeted, primarily due to roll correction refunds related to assessment appeals. This revenue shortfall is offset by higher than anticipated vehicle license fees. Discretionary revenue is currently projected to meet budget estimates overall. Attachment A provides the forecast for the remainder of the fiscal year, and that's part of your board letter document. Our office is tracking local public safety funding, known as Prop 172, very closely. Public safety departments have benefited over the past several years from higher than average Prop 172 funding. Projected revenue estimates from the county's sales tax consultant indicates a decline in the county's allocation share. This decline could translate to a revenue shortfall of approximately $5.3 million less in revenue than was budgeted this fiscal year. Based on this new information, it is likely that Prop 172 reserves will need to be used in order to backfill public safety departments for the potential loss. If the projections materialize, our office will return to your board for budgetary action. The fiscal year 2016-17 adopted budget included $12.5 million in appropriations for contingencies. Your board specifically requested a mid-year status of the sheriff's allocation of $1.3 million for the academy and the additional $1.5 million set aside for operations. As detailed in the memorandum from the sheriff's office included as part of this report, the sheriff's office anticipates using approximately $955,000 of the funds for the academy scheduled for April of 2017. Additionally, the sheriff plans to use $850,000 of the available $1.5 million in conjunction with the $629,000 in CDBG funding to maintain services in low-income areas. To balance the fiscal year 2016-17 budget, $29 million of carry forward and reserves were used, leaving a remaining balance total of $141.8 million in reserves and designations. As noted on page 7 of this report, there are no changes in reserves and designations as of December 31st. A decrease of $116,000 was approved by your board on January 24th for the acquisition of technology equipment. As discussed last week during the first budget discussion for fiscal year 2017-18, your board has ultimate discretion on spending reserves. Your board adopted a 4-year plan to mitigate the reduction in property tax revenue that requires the use of at least $30 million of the current balance of $141.8 million in reserves to balance the general fund over the next 3 years. While we were pleased to report that the initial projections for property tax-related revenue have improved, they must be tempered with reductions in the sales and use tax revenue, increases in pension costs, potential increases in in-home supportive services costs, and quite possibly reductions in federal health care funding. Departments are encouraged to be conservative in spending throughout the remainder of the current fiscal year to preserve general fund resources where possible to carry forward to next fiscal year. While non-general fund departments are not part of this report, these departments did provide mid-year reports and are reviewed by our staff. The road fund has experienced reduced revenue in the state highway user tax account over the past 2 years. The department has mitigated the loss by using reserves and to a lesser extent by reducing maintenance levels. Recent weather events caused significant damage to county road and flood protective infrastructure. As a result, your board declared a fiscal emergency on January 30th. The department is reviewing alternatives to mitigate the decline in revenue for next fiscal year, but may be requesting an increase in the contribution from the general fund. Based on the most recent claim to the state, the Department of Human Services budget is projected to be within adopted funding. Our office will continue to work with the department and evaluate the financial situation after the second quarter has been completed and reviewed in late February. While not expected at this time, any identified increases to the department's net general fund cost will be brought back to your board for budgetary action. Finally, at the mid-year, the fire department has implemented some of the actions included in the fiscal year 2016-17 budget to mitigate a portion of its $17.8 million deficit. The adopted budget included a contribution from the general fund of $3.9 million for pension cost increases and $3.8 million to backfill the remaining operational deficit. Projections indicate that the department will receive more in property taxes than originally estimated. In light of the excess property tax revenue, your board may consider reducing the current year general fund contribution to the fire fund for its deficit so that those funds could be retained for the general fund for the shortfall next year. The fire department is anticipated to provide your board with a more detailed mid-year report on February 14th, next Tuesday. The recommended action for this item is to receive and file. That concludes my comments at this time. I would like to indicate that your board will hear the proposed fiscal year 2017-18 budget guideline next Monday, February 13th. This is the final of 3 special board meetings scheduled to discuss next year's budget. And at this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Do I have any questions from the board before I go to the public? Okay. Seeing none, are there any members of the public that would like to make comment on this item? Okay, seeing none. I have a question, Ms. Lawson, about the Prop 172 funding. Did I hear you correctly that there's a $5.3 million shortfall in that as far as what was projected and actual based on our sales tax revenue?
Mr. Chairman, that is correct. What happens with Prop 172 is an allocation factor changes about mid-year. We don't know what that's going to be, and so you're using your last year factors. Part of Prop 172 contains our escalation from use tax associated to both wind turbines and solar. So our factor has been much higher than what we would call our base in the last several years. We were aware of that. There's been funds set aside by your board in a reserve to kind of help offset. The problem is it's declining quicker than originally projected. So there is enough in reserves to hold the departments to their current levels for the current year. However, that's not going to be able to be sustained going forward.
Yeah, I remember in the budget discussions last year, there was quite a bit of discussion about Prop 172 and the reserve fund and whether or not we could or should use reserves to mitigate some of the funding reductions to, I think, particularly the Sheriff's Department and the DA's office. And so had we done that, it sounds to me like we wouldn't have potentially anything in reserves to mitigate this shortfall. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, you're correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from members of the board? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Ms. Lawson, very much. We look forward to the discussion next Monday where we dig into the remaining general fund department budgets and also the fire department. And I need a motion to receive and file on this item.
Motion to receive and file.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Couch.
Thank you very much. Okay, that will bring us to item number 16 on our agenda. This item is under Human Services. This is a report on the results of the 2016 Kern County CARES Canned Food Drive. Good morning, Ms. Murphy.
Good morning, Chairman Scrivener and members of the board. We're so very pleased this year to report that we've raised $28,632, which includes money from a golf tournament in cash donations and another 11,504 pounds in food for a combined total of 68,786 pounds of food. It would be wonderful to stand up here and take credit, but it is so much my honor to have been appointed the department head who gets to lead this on behalf of the board. And as you know, the Kern CARES effort collects food through November through December, and this very food bridges the food for the hungry from January to March when things are very quiet and giving is very quiet. So while I'd like to take credit for coordinating, I just get to beam with pride that we've done such an incredible job in beating our numbers last year. It's really our little coordinators within each and every department. And for me in leading this effort, it's Hilda Guerrero. And she's so modest that she told me she's just going to practice her lean talents, and answer the phone back at the office. But I did bring with me Gabriel Hernandez, and we very fondly refer to him as Superman, and I'm sure that you can see why, because he flies in and he lifts all the food and coordinates pickup and delivery now for the second year in a row of food to the gleaners for serving our community. We had 25 departments that participated. And when we were just at a lurch and not going to make it, I called Ruben Arejo, your department head for ag, because we didn't have enough potatoes this year. And he called Kirschman Farms, and they gave us almost an 800-pound donation, which pushed us just over the top of our goal. So a huge thank you to Ruben for his relationships and being so generous as to help us out. As part of the drive, we have a friendly competition. And so we want to recognize our folks who are some of our top performers. And I have with me your department head, Lorelei Oviatt, from Planning and Community Development. And I understand they kicked into gear in just the last week and a half. And they were the big food pound winners with 4,656 pounds of food donated. And I know Tina Burke coordinated for them and did an incredible job. And they poked and prodded staff, but you got to be so proud of your county staff because they're the ones who chipped in and made this all happen. And from Mary Bedart's Auditor Controller Office, she was the big winner with $4,653 in cash donated towards the effort. And then your retired Doug Landon, again, this year ran a golf tournament to contribute towards the efforts and made $8,591 on that golf tournament. So that's just growing. Keep your eyes on that. He's getting bigger and bigger each year. So we just want to,
Is Doug getting bigger and bigger, or is the fund getting bigger and bigger? He's retired, you know.
He's retired. He's retired, but he's golfing, so he's thinner. I think we get younger when we retire. That's what I've heard. But I just want to point out that our Jim Wheeler, who headed the Gleaners, has retired. He has not retired. He has an incredible promotion to Orange County, and we're really going to miss him because he's going to do great things there in Orange County for the homeless population. But this group of Gleaners last year served 180,000 folks in food. They have only 2 full-time employees. One of them was Jim. And they have 9,000 volunteer shift hours that make this happen. It's just incredible and like clockwork. If you've never been there to see it, it's something spectacular. They served 2 million pounds of food that they prepared and delivered to donations last year. I just can't think of a more worthwhile and charitable cause. I'm so proud to be a part of this. If you haven't, skip a couple of meals, wait 24 hours and know that you've got folks in this community who have food insecurity and they don't know where their next meal is coming from. And you've got from children to elders being served by this very worthy cause. And we're just so proud of our accomplishments this year, especially without the 13,000 pounds of potatoes that we've enjoyed every year. It really tells you that all county employees stepped up and went above and beyond. So kudos to you as a board, kudos to all of your county employees, and to our department heads. Please go back and thank your coordinators because they were incredible. And again, that special thank you to Hilda for coordinating and making me look good. Thank you so much. Would any of you like to say anything? Thank you. Oh, there you go, Mary.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I just want to thank Dina for leading this effort and for her staff. I'd also like to acknowledge the work of the coordinators in my office, who are Sean DeShutter and Dee Dee Solano, as well as our entire staff of the Auditor Controller's Office, Elections and County Clerk, who really stepped up and donated for this. Thank you.
And Ms. Bedard, now, your department, I think you are the reigning champions for the most money collected, is that correct?
Yes, we generally collect the most money.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. And we have a new champion for most pounds of food, the planning department. So congratulations, Ms. Oviatt, and your department.
I'd like to say Tina Burke organizes this, and we kind of all woke up, but we have a more than friendly competition. This is an aggressive trash-talking competition. We have a big board. The teams give themselves names. It is highly competitive, and I think it is a good outlet, and we are very proud because I don't think we've ever won. This is our first year, and I'm really excited. I think the gift cards that management put together might have also incentivized them. So,
Congratulations.
A
And
veritable dynasty.
Ms. Murphy, thank you so much for the great work that you've done in taking over from Mr. Landon, but we greatly appreciate that he is still actively involved, and congratulations to him and to everybody who worked on that golf tournament. That's great that it's going strong.
Thank you.
Terrific. Thanks so much. Okay, we need first I'll ask, are there any members of the public that would like to make a comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I need a motion to receive and file.
Second.
Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Couch.
Okay, that brings us to the conclusion of our agenda for this morning. We do have some items to consider in closed session, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to consider items 27 and 28 under the County Administrative Office and 29 under County Council.
So moved.
We are adjourned.